West Texas was developed by strong families whose legacies form the culture we enjoy as West Texans. Richard Tankersley was the first rancher and one of the first settlers in this area.
He was born in Mississippi. He and his wife were married there, and he came across the Mississippi River on a barge and began to move west. He got as far as San Saba and kind of put down as if he were going to stay. But he did some ranger work and came out to the Concho Valley. And this was, I think, about when they were building Fort Concho in the 1860s. And he just took one look at the valley and he decided that he was going to move here. But he did was walk or ride horseback out to the Twin Mountains. And he stopped and looked out over that area. There were no mesquite trees. Grass was stirrup high. And he just took his arms and waved them and said, "This is mine." And who was to contradict him? No one, but the Indians claimed it. And so he began to buy cattle, run cattle, and had, of course, horses and mules, and just generally set up shop, as we say. And he did well. He ended up having contracts with Fort Mason, Fort Concho, and he was furnished the meat. Well, he had to butcher the meat, and he needed water to do that, I guess. And so down where the city park is in San Angelo is where he had his meat rendering. He would butcher the animals and cut them up, and the meat would be transported to the various forts for the soldiers. Mrs. Tankersley had various businesses. She had a small hotel down on Concho Avenue. Her children all had businesses also, or married businessmen.
After a few years, the situation at home for Richard and his wife became strained.
They had a divorce action in court. Mrs. Tankersley was, as we say, out to clean his plow, but he balked and he wouldn't give in and he wouldn't give the divorce until he said, "All right, on one condition." And the judge asked, "And what is that condition?" "That she continue to do my laundry." So the divorce was granted. Mr. Tankersley lived a full life. He remarried, had more children, and built a house at Tankersley, Texas. This was big country. It was a great distance point to point. One thing that they attributed to Mr. Tankersley was that he was not exactly friendly with the Indians, but they were on the same basis with them, and he never had trouble with them. One tribe came through here on their way to Mexico in the winter, and they might have, been more Indians than Mr. Tankersley was safe with. I don't know. But like the Battle of Dove Creek was on his property. He spent a lot of time with his kids pulling arrowheads and bullets out of the trees and burying the dead and such as that. I think he truly loved the country. Also, when he died, he owned both sides of Spring Creek, all the way to the springs, and various members of the family lived up and down the creek, and some still do. He was a true pioneer, and we should be grateful to him for having come.
Thank you to the Richard Tankersley family for their contributions to our West Texas heritage.